We'll stay with a sense of what's going on around the world and get a sense of the papers, because British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is getting some praise in the British press today after Britain struck a post-Brexit agreement with the EU over Northern Ireland protocols. And our press reviewer, Deeptika Laurent, is here to take us through it. Give us a sense of basically what the message is around Rishi Sunak.
Well, lots of reactions around this Windsor framework deal that was struck between the EU Commission's President Ursula von der Leyen and the British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. Gavin, now Sunak said yesterday that the agreement would make it easier to ship items between Great Britain and Northern Ireland. It would also involve creating these so-called green lanes for significantly reduced checks for products staying in Northern Ireland, and the red lanes for those products that are going on to continuing into Ireland. For the Times of London today, it's a Brexit breakthrough, as it says on its front page. The paper notably hailing the Stormont break clause that's named for the Belfast Parliament, which allows Belfast to the possibility to veto new EU single market rules from applying to the region. For the Northern Irish paper, the Belfast Telegraph, it's a make or break situation, it says on its front page, and you see there the play on words on Stormont break there. Northern Irish lawmakers are cautiously optimistic about the deal, and with good reason. It still needs to be approved by the House of Commons and ratified by the EU. But in any case, lawmakers say they're taking their time to comb through the fine print. But as I said, in any case, it's being seen as a major breakthrough, the last major hurdle in getting Brexit done.
Interesting. As a sort of long-time Brussels watcher, the energy was definitely different between Rishi Sunak and Ursula von der Leyen. Now let's talk about another former Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, because he was no wallflower in this. He's given his opinion before the deal's already, well, actually, before the deal was agreed. Give us a sense what the British dailies are saying about him. They're sticking it to him, aren't they? That's
right. In a nutshell, they're sticking it to him, and rather gleefully, there's quite a bit of gentle and not so gentle ribbing when it comes to the former British Prime Minister. This is from the Independent, which sort of gleefully exclaims on its front page, "Look who finally got Brexit done, and it wasn't you, Boris." That's from the Independent. The Metro, another British daily, well, they have a rather interesting headline. You can put the oven on, and if you scour through the paper, you'll understand why they're going with that headline. It's a reference to a front page back in 2019 on Metro, which echoed comments by then by Prime Minister Boris Johnson at the time, who said that his Brexit deal was, quote, oven ready and set to grill. Well, Metro says you can put the oven now, but this time it's Rishi Sunak who's gotten the job done. And it's a sort of similar sentiment in the Illustrated Press as well. This is from Steve Bell, the Guardian's cartoonist, who you see here, all the major parties sitting together, but the big sort of person who's absent and present at the same time is Boris Johnson there, represented by that shaggy blonde mane and buttocks that we're used to seeing in the Illustrated Press, Gavin.
Deepti, can we also talk about Emmanuel Macron, his big African continent tour of 4 countries? Ahead of this trip, there's clearly going to be lots of African press about it. What sense are you getting?
Well, a lot of reactions, first of all, to comments he made in that speech yesterday, in which the French leader spoke of a new era for France in Africa, one that involves a reduced military presence on the continent, and one that will involve a military presence more in partnership with local authorities. Now, the Burkina Faso paper, Wakat Sera, hails this change in tone from the French president, who the paper says appears to want the change that African people want as well. There's a little bit more skepticism in Le That's a Guinean paper, which welcomes, nonetheless, Emmanuel Macron's, quote, humility and lucidity in reducing French military presence. But it adds that it's not like France has a choice. I quote, "It comes at a time when France is being relegated in practically all spheres of historical influence on the African continent. The least France can do now is come back down to earth and actually listen to what the African people want for their continent."
Finally, Deepti, there was a story about a fisherman rescued after being stranded at sea for 24 hours, and he's been found, hasn't he, thanks to an internet manhunt?
That's right. So this story dates back to last year. So Elvis Francois, he made international headlines last year after being rescued by the Colombian military. Gavin, he had spent 24 days stranded at sea alone, surviving allegedly on ketchup and seasoning packets that he had with him. That's the name that was the nickname that was given to him as Ketchup Man. Well, after that ordeal, as you can understand, Elvis Francois sort of went AWOL and really disappeared from the public eye until now. That is, the ketchup giant Heinz and its viral Instagram post recently asked internet users to help find Elvis Francois because Heinz actually wanted to buy him a brand new boat, presumably as thanks for inadvertently touting the survival benefits of ketchup. Not sure if Francois actually survived on Heinz ketchup or another brand of ketchup, but clearly Heinz wants to get in on this, at least from a publicity point of view. Gavin.
Deeptika, Laurent, thank you for that. Imagine being at sea for 24 days and you get called Ketchup Man after it. Well, thank you for watching the team here. We'll be back in a few minutes with the latest news and headlines.